Hi guys. Yeah, hopefully you all had a good lunch. I wanted to kick things off with a little question on my part. Stick your hand up if you've worked with influencers before. One over there, two here, three. Cool. Some of you, not too many. Some experts in the room though, that's always good to see. Like yourselves, we do too. We've worked with paid influencers in the past, and we found that perhaps it hasn't been as fruitful as we would have liked. Perhaps we haven't got as much value from it as we would have wanted. So for our campaign to launch our new game, Battlelands Royale, we decided that we wanted to take a different approach to it. And we wanted to try something that would basically lead us to work with influencers and creators as part of an overall organic community marketing strategy that in the end isn't going to break the bank for us. So today I'll be diving a bit deeper into that approach with you guys. But first I'll give you a little bit of background into our company and why we're here. If I've got a thing to change the slide. Thanks. Do I point at? There we go. Yeah, so Dev.Play Games, we're based in Helsinki. We were founded in 2015 and we've since grown to relatively medium-sized startup. We've got 13 million revenues, but our team is actually 25 people. I think the formatting is a little bit broken on the slide, but there is more than two of us, I promise. And yeah, we launched 7 games, most of them in the idle gaming sector, and then we've recently launched our first PvP title, Battlelands Royale, which is what I'm going to talk about today. So we were founded on basically shipping games fast, doing things quickly, learning fast, failing fast, picking up the pieces really quickly, and yeah, trying to develop what we call a minimum awesome product instead of a minimum viable product. So we believe that by shipping a game out really fast, it allows you to gather the quantitative and qualitative feedback from the community and really inform your development processes, as well as, of course, starting building up those organic sectors of players who are interested in your game from essentially throughout soft launch. So first off, we focused on big themes like farming, like city building, and applied a casual approach to them. So we had Idle Farming Empire, Idle City Empire, and they were heavily focused on ads. We had like a 70-30 split monetization between ads and IAPs. And this essentially provided the foundation from which we could grow into 2018 and try something a little bit more risky. So coming into 2018, we'd always wanted to create a PvP. We'd always wanted to create a multiplayer game that would have this longer tail, that would allow us to build this social community around it. And a lot of the guys were big fans of PUBG, were big fans of Battle Royale already on PC. And in one weekend, actually, one of the guys just thought, well, let's build a prototype, let's bring it to mobile. And that was when we made the transition from our Dev.Play genre to Mocha. So that's massive online casual competitive arena, and this is where we're trying to fill the space in between a MOBA and an IO game to create something that's a bit strategic but also super casual, can pick up and play, and ultimately we want to be able to move into the esports genre with this community that's led by influencers and this bottom-up community marketing approach that we're taking towards the game. So that's how Battlelands Royale was born. We started development, or just to quickly explain the game before that, actually, it's a top-down or isometric 32-player shooter. You drop in, parachute in, collect what's near you, loot guns, shoot who's close by, and essentially it's a battle for survival. Super fast games. You've got solos, duos, customizable content, and quite a large shrinking arena as well. And since we launched in June, so we started development in January, and in keeping with wanting to launch things fast, we launched in June, and in the 4 months since then, we've got over 13 million players and over 5 million battles started each day. So each player's starting an average of 10 battles a day. But the big thing, and the reason why I'm here today, is because of this 4,000% organic uplift. So that means that for every one player we acquire through paid media, we get 4,000 players installing without us having to pay anything. And the community that we've managed to build around the game is a large part, a reason for why this has been able to be at such a large number and drive such a viral word of mouth feeling around it. So just to go through the top line stats, yeah, sorry about the formatting, but we've got the Battlelands Royale Creator Club network, which I'll talk a little bit about in a minute, but we've got over 13 million subscribers to that through 10 influencers that we work with. Across our own social media platforms, we've got over 500,000 subscribers, and we're experiencing big growth on that month on month. And we also try to get involved in the creator side of things ourselves. So we're only a small studio, as I touched upon earlier, but we think it's really important to try and connect with creators and influencers in the community, whether they're big and small, big with like millions of subscribers or small with thousands of subscribers. And we try to contribute to that where we can by running our own live streams, doing our own Play with Dev, doing our own dev talks, and running our own challenges through social. So I'll dive into that as well. And it's really important for us to take this community approach to the game, because when we look at who's playing it, it's a really trend-driven community, and we know that if we can tap into that market, they'll essentially do the marketing for us. So 1 in 5 players is from the US, 4 in 5 of those are male, and then 2/3 of those are in this 18 to 34 bracket, which we know are switched on. We know they're tuned into the latest social media. We know they're ahead of the trends in terms of who's going to be the next big YouTuber and so on and so forth. So we try to hang out where they hang out and be present where they're present to ensure that they're talking about us as much as possible, both on the creator side and in the community side. So to take you back through soft launch and how we began this process of building this influencer-led community, as I touched upon earlier, we started development of the game in January, and then in March we decided to soft launch in Poland, Finland, and Ukraine. And almost instantly we had this really cool hit of a couple of big YouTubers, one with 1 million subscribers, one with 250,000 subscribers, picking up the game and posting about it on their YouTube channel. And this was when the game was literally just gameplay, no meta, no anything. And all of a sudden, huge communities started forming around the channels of these YouTubers. And we decided that we had to get in on that. So that kind of acted as a trigger from which we then started to build our own communities. So already in soft launch, we set up a Discord, we set up a Facebook group. We were already active on all of the regular social network channels, but by bringing players from those audiences from that YouTube channel to our inward network, which things like Discord and Facebook groups are really handy tools for, we were able to tap into them and ensure that they were going to be loyal players, as well as get feedback from them, which helped shape the development of the game. And of course, we had the creators in there as well that were creating the content and posting it out to YouTube. Even though we were only in the soft launch stage, it was really nice to be able to connect with them. And we were trying to kind of keep a lid on things at this point. We had a few big videos popping up, and all of a sudden we'd put like these brand monitoring tools in place. It's something that's quite handy to do. If you set up like a Google alert, for example, with the title of your game, you can see where it's being talked about and then make sure that you're responding to what's being said about your game in different parts of the internet. And then all of a sudden, video popped up in Brazil, and we hadn't even launched the game in Brazil yet. This was just a YouTuber with like 1.6 million subscribers who went onto APK Pure, downloaded the Android version, made a game, and then suddenly we had this huge audience in Brazil. So we're really trying to keep a lid on that and try and create a place where we could handle all these creators that were popping up in one place. So already during soft launch, we created the Battlelands Royale Creator Club. And what that was essentially, and what it is, we were debating whether or not to start it on Slack or on Discord. But it's a central hub which allows the creators to come together, gives us direct access to them so we can share content, share sneak peeks, share previews of what's coming up in the next update, and give them exclusive materials. But it also brings the creators together as well. It means that they can share ideas off each other and essentially gives them another reason that they can use to carry on creating authentic, genuine content that we can handle on a budget. So a couple of tricks that we've used in that is to create a creator pack as well. Something that we've had linked on the channel since the start is basically just an up-to-date external Google Drive folder of all the game assets, the game art, the music, the lobby soundtrack, some snippets from the video trailer and so forth that these influencers and creators can go into and then pick content out of and use that to form their thumbnails on YouTube or use that to post their own social content around. And that's kind of nice as well, because then it means that you sort of got a little bit of control, so to speak, although that's not necessarily what you want, but you've got a little bit of control in terms of what art people are using to post about you when they're making content. And then beyond the Creator Club as well and the digital stuff that we provide, we found it to be really important that we show these guys love outside of the game as well. So quite often, these two Brazilian guys actually, the dude on the left, Neri, he's got like 1.6 million subscribers, and we sent him a Battlelands t-shirt and a hat. And this was great for him because it gives him another angle on his content. Instead of just a regular gameplay video, what he did here was like an unboxing video with his dog. And that gives him a reason to reach a wider section of the audience that perhaps he wouldn't have normally been able to reach. And that's nice for us because then that gives us access to them as well. And then likewise with the dude on the right, we didn't actually send him those posters. We just sent him the digital material. He printed them off, stuck them up on his wall, and now they're in the background for all of the streams and the videos he does. So we're trying to make sure that we keep these guys happy and give them reasons to keep on creating content about the game. And something that's kind of important as well that we found to be important, which perhaps I've neglected in the past when running some paid campaigns, is the subscriber count and the relationship that it has with the view count. So in the past, we've been guilty of paying for campaigns, perhaps paying more than we should have because a YouTuber has got 2 million subscribers. But what we've since found is that what's far more important is actually their viewership metrics and the engagement that their audience has with the content that they're producing. So you can see here, these guys have got totally different subscriber counts. One's got 10K, one's got 1.6 million, and they've got very similar amounts of views. So that's just something to keep an eye on as well. And that's why it's really important for us to look after the guys, whether they're YouTubers with tons of subscribers or YouTubers with just a few thousand. But something that we try to do as well with the more reputable YouTubers is to bring them in the game. So I talked about the stuff that we send them to allow them to create content through the creator packs and such, and keeping them in the loop on the development and sneak peeks, and then the swag that we send them outside of the game. But what we found to be like quite a neat trick is to bring them inside of the game. So we try to go the extra mile, and for example, with Season 2, we've just launched battle flags. Battle flags are essentially like kill tags. So after each enemy that you kill, they drop and they give you a chance to leave your mark on the map. So you can fill the arena with your own tag. And we went to the influencers, we said, hey guys, like we've got this really new cool thing. How about like we put your logo on these flags and then the arena will be filled with all of your branding. And they're like, whoa, this is awesome. So that gives them another reason to create original, authentic, unique content. Like this has only just gone live quite recently, but we've already seen one YouTuber creating videos about this, and we're excited to see like what sort of plans we can use to integrate them into the game even further going forward. And yeah, following on from the point earlier on, the battle flags is something that we do with the bigger, more established, more reputable YouTubers. But with YouTubers who have got fewer subscribers and guys who do live streams on Twitch and YouTube, we just try to be present wherever they're present. So that means from time to time dropping in on YouTube. Take this as an example. Actually, this was a live stream from one of our streamers with smaller following, 2,500 views. This one had a guy called Dev.Play. We dropped into his stream from the official Battlelands channel. Just dropped him a message like, hey, like, how's it going? Instantly, there's a huge buzz from all the people who are following his streams, being like, oh my God, it's the official Battlelands channel. We're talking to them for a while, trying our best to like build up this buzz, making sure that everybody's really excited. And then just before we leave, we said like, hey, Divi, when you finish this battle, there's something waiting for you in the lobby. So then there's like a few minutes of suspense. He's trying his hardest to finish the game as fast as he can. everybody in his chat's like, whoa, what's it going to be? He finished the game and then browsed through the lobby until he found the skin that we gifted him, and it turned out to be the skin that he'd wanted to unlock all along, and it was his favorite skin, and he like just froze. It was insane. It was like such genuine, meaningful content, and all of his fans were like so happy. He almost had to stop the stream because he like literally couldn't speak. And even though this has got quite a low touch, like in the few thousands at the time, it's important for us to remember that that stream is going to stick around on his channel for a while. It will likely multiply by 2 or 3 times viewership. So even if it's only a few thousand there, it will be seen by more people. And that moment that you can have on such a personal level with people who are so passionate about the game is really valuable and something that we keep striving to repeat. And following on from that, really, we just try to be present as much as we can wherever our players hang out. So if it's YouTube, where your players hang out, then hang out on YouTube. If it's Twitch, then Twitch. If it's Mixer, then Mixer. But ensure that you've got an official account set up, ensure that you're visible. And from time to time, you might find that they'll ask you, like, hey, can we do an interview with you on our channel? And I think those sorts of opportunities are really good because, again, it gives you another chance to connect with their audience. So we've just done an interview which will go out on one of our creators' channels next week at some point. But again, it adds a unique angle to their content, gives them like a bigger buy-in, increases their loyalty in the game, and ultimately shows that we care and we really want them to keep on producing great stuff. And then something else that we found to be really important in this is that if we can ask the creators that we're working with to loop back round to us. So when we drop into these streams and when we do the interviews on channels and so forth, some of their audience might not know that we've got our own community set up already. So we just point the players back to our Discord, back to our Facebook groups, and back to our other community pages, and give them an extra reason to follow us, because ultimately fans of these YouTubers and these YouTube creators are very passionate about the content that they're creating, but we're the game developers at the end of the day, and if we can provide some more meaningful content on our channel, they're going to be wanting to hear from us as well. So we try to do as many live streams as possible. We try to like mix up the old traditional dev interview type thing and run some play with devs. They're really fun. Definitely give that a go. If it's like Friday afternoon and you're wondering how you can kill the next few hours, then go grab a beer from the fridge, plug your phone into your computer and hook yourself up on Facebook Live, because your fans will absolutely love it. And it's the same with tutorials, Let's Plays, sneak peeks. Just keep on producing as much varied content as you can. You don't need a pro setup from your own office. You can just use a Mac, which is pretty much what we do, and make sure that players do have a reason to keep coming back. Like another thing that we've done as well through social to try and increase the virality on both the player side and also on the creator side is run challenges. So we've only just integrated challenges into the game itself, but it's like, for example, you can start a battle and you've got to win by getting the last kill with a bazooka, or you've got to win without taking any damage, or you've got to win without dealing any damage. And before we incorporated these into the games, we started running them on our social media page. And the entry requirements were for players to upload a video of themselves completing the challenge on YouTube. And then we'd go through YouTube, see all the videos, decide who had won and give them some battle books or send them some swag and so on and so forth. And each time we've run one of these challenges, we have like over 100 players enter, and some of them will be players, some of them will be creators. But it's a really nice way to basically have YouTube flooded with your game on quite a regular basis. And yeah, coming back onto paid, as I say, it's something that we have done in the past, and it's not something that we want to completely rule out now, because there are obviously advantages and disadvantages of running an organic campaign. And probably the main disadvantage that we've had of doing all this organically is that it requires a lot of effort, and it's all a little bit unknown, right? We don't know if the influencers are going to go away and create the videos. All we can do is just like keep brushing their egos, keep sending them stuff, and hope that they will be loyal to the game and continue to create stuff. But the only way to really guarantee that influencers are going to create content is by paying for it. But what we've found in the past, that even though that has a mass reach, and even though it can create a domino effect which can spread virality if you do it properly, that perhaps the videos are going to be less genuine, and you also don't necessarily want to create a culture through which YouTubers who might potentially create content around your game for free would learn that you're paying other influencers, so they could then hang on and wait until you offer them a deal as well. Plus, it's way more fun to create this community whereby people want to create content for your game, instead of saying like, hey, we'll pay you a few £1,000 if you do this and we'll never speak to you again. We've actually got like a loyal base of people who are willing to give us feedback, willing to help us improve, and telling us ideas of what would make the game more streamable and more recordable for them. But yeah, again, they don't need to be mutually exclusive. So you can run paid campaigns, I think, alongside unpaid campaigns, but you just got to make sure that you do it properly. One shout out actually for Matchmade. I don't know if any of you guys have used them in the past, but they're an influencer marketing campaign agency that you can basically connect you to influencers that you can then pay and run campaigns through. But they're pretty useful if that's the route that you do want to go down. Where next for us? So we want to keep on trying these little tricks to bring the community even closer to the game. We want to, at the moment, we don't have like an in-game news hub like quite a lot of other games do, and we want to start Battlelands Royale TV. And as I say, we've had like a very bootstrap approach to the whole process so far. It's just been getting a computer out in the meeting room and going live, and it's kind of worked. But we think that perhaps as the game develops more of a playership, we might have to start doing something a little bit more legitimate. So perhaps, who knows, we can maybe move into our own studio. But we do want to keep on producing influencer-centric content, and think that that's a key to really tapping into the mindset of the creators and making sure that they feel valued, making sure that they have reason to keep on producing content about your game. And ultimately, it'd be nice for us to be able to move into the esports genre as well. That's like what our one of our long-term aims is. So anybody who knows anything about esports, please come and find me after this. I'd be very up for speaking to you. But cool, yeah, I'll leave it there. Thanks for listening. Do check out our social links and make sure you download the game if you haven't already. Thank you.